Well, James, it's a solid start. Creature Commandos. I have seen the first two episodes that they dropped. I think this was a good call to drop two episodes instead of just one, as much as that usually annoys me. It annoys me slightly less when the episodes are less than half an hour apiece. I'm a little bit more willing then. But yeah, so this is our first official start to the new era of DC. I say official because this does appear to be in continuity with James Gunn's own The Suicide Squad and by association Peacemaker. So I suppose those could be counted as the unofficial start, even though those were also arguably in continuity with the old DCEU. But this is the first official production with him at the head of DC Studios. And it's a good time. Like, the Suicide Squad premise in and of itself is already fun, and throwing monsters in as opposed to just convicted criminals makes it, frankly, more fun. Get more outlandish with it, especially if you're going to go animated. Why wouldn't you? It's the chance to do something that would be prohibitively expensive if you were trying to do it in live action, but you can draw it animated. Cool. Not to imply that animation is cheap. It actually can get pretty pricey, but the idea of trying to create these characters realistically probably would have cost a hell of a lot more than this does. And this looks good. I think I missed, it probably was in there somewhere, but I missed the official announcement that the Rick Flag in this is Rick Flag Sr., meaning that the Rick Flag who, spoiler for a several-year-old movie, didn't make it through the end of the Suicide Squad, was his son. And that actually plays into things a little bit in an interesting way. He is reminiscent of that character, but is also distinct. As far as the other characters go, let's see. Dr. Phosphorus is kind of being played as, well, at least initially, a little bit of the wild card, or at least the one who is potentially the biggest danger to the group, which you need at least one of those for this kind of setup. Just having a skull face means he's really hard to read and he's just inherently dangerous. There's a fight scene with him that's really well done. But also, like, he seems to have enough dimension to him that he's kind of interesting and he works. Nina, the fish woman, seems to be like the heart of the group, or at least is being set up to be. She seems to be the one least inclined to want to do violence in general, and is just there because, well, what else are they going to do with her? I'll be interested to see if there's more to her than that, but she does seem to be fitting that role pretty decently so far. We have the Weasel, which is just, it's just the Weasel. He's just there to look weird, honestly. We'll see what else they get from him. I quite like G.I. Robot, like this old Nazi killing machine. I'm hoping that he'll get a focus, because there's something really endearing about him as a character, because he's really only about one thing. He's about killing Nazis, and that's it. But that said, he does still have more going to him. Like, that is the only thing he's about. That is true. But, like, you look at his interaction with Nina, and it's like, I am all about killing Nazis. I wish I was killing Nazis right now. It bothers me that I have to wait this long to kill Nazis. Sure would be nice to have someone to kill Nazis with. It's like this acknowledgement of, like, look, this is who I am, and I can't change who I am. It'd be nice to have people that understand me for who I am and maybe share my core interest. I don't know. It's really endearing. I rather like him. The Bride. The Bride is interesting. Well, first of all, the voice actress is doing great work. It's a great, I'm so out of F's to give, it's not even funny anymore kind of performance. She's real good for it. I like the design as well. Like, she's a badass. That having been said, there's some aspects to her background that we get in the second episode that I don't love. Like, I feel like Gunn is trying to subvert some of the stuff that you might assume about the Bride, or at the very least, he's kind of using Frankenstein's monster as a little bit of a dickish incel, which, like, fine, that tracks, that makes sense. But, okay, so I'm not comfortable with the fact that she was in a sexual relationship with Victor Frankenstein. I just, here's the thing. Unless you're going to properly explore that that's kind of a messed up dynamic, I don't think I'll ever be super comfortable with that. Like, it's a whole trope. It's called Born Sexy Yesterday. And this isn't doing as much to subvert that trope as I would like. It's kind of just doing it straight with a character who very much has found their own agency since then. Not to negate the agency. I'm not going to say it was impossible for her to consent to what went on. I don't mean to imply that. But honestly, for what ends up happening, I don't think that was necessary. Like, at all. I think for the kind of possessive jackass that Frankenstein's monster is, I think you could have justified what he did just by seeing how much better Victor was connecting with her than he was. I think that was plenty. I don't think you needed to show them banging. It was a little gross. It felt, every now and then, James Gunn is a very fun, thoughtful filmmaker and writer. But every now and then, you still get little glimpses of the button-pushing, edgelordy stuff he used to do when he was at Troma. Now, not that, like, Victor Frankenstein bangs the bride. Not that that's, like, the edgiest thing I've ever heard of. It's not. It's pretty middling. But, like, that feels like a toned-down version of, like, the kind of stuff that used to be his entire shtick back before he started actually getting to direct his own stuff and, maturing a bit as an artist. And I don't love getting those glimpses. Like, there are ways to harness that rowdy energy without actually having to tap into the, that's a little gross aspect of the kind of stuff he used to do. So, when glimpses like that crop up, it's not wrong. It's not bad. He's not a bad person for including it, but it does make me go just a little, oh, I guess we only change so much. But other than that, I do really like The Bride. I don't want to leave any impression that I don't. The music, boy, you get James Gunn and you can guarantee a good soundtrack. The music and the band that they've picked, which I looked up before and I'm suddenly drawing a blank on the name of. I'll put it right here. It's good stuff. I'm hoping that they will continue to use music from this band even after they leave the made up, vaguely Eastern European country that they're in. Even when they're out of there, I hope they keep using this music because it's a lot of fun. I'm really, really enjoying it. Circe from Themyscira leading an army of just simping incels. Like, that's what they are. Like, I know I already said Frankenstein's monster's got a bit of an incel thing going. Like, he's got an incel fixation on a specific person. These are like the more general types. And actually we get a couple different flavors of them from the small glimpses we get of these guys, but it's pretty like, boy, these guys are awful, aren't they? And yeah, they are. And I could also see Circe kind of collecting those kinds of people who, for her, would be very easy to manipulate. And is it a bit of a cheap joke? Yeah, but it's a deserving target. So I think I'm going to let that one slide. We don't get a lot of Amanda Waller in this, but, I like this iteration of Amanda Waller. It's not my favorite. I'll be blunt about it. I'd still prefer a woman with a build that would justify calling her the Wall. That's still my preference, but if we're not going to get that, she's solid. Viola Davis is a very good voice actor and she works for the part, but give me the Wall. Like, give me this big, powerful woman. God, I just want her to step on me. I'm sorry. Who said that? I didn't say that. Who said that? Moving on. Trying to think what else is there to talk about. The princess is totally a bad guy. I don't know what her deal is, but like, I'm calling that now. Actually, I called that almost immediately when she showed up. I'm like, oh, so she's a villain. That reveal hasn't happened in the first 2 episodes, which I guess brings to the one other thing. This is more serialized than I was expecting. I'll be curious to see how long this particular plot thread goes, how many episodes, and then whether it'll break and they'll start a new storyline, or if it'll feed directly into whatever the next plot line is. Because I don't think there's enough gas in the tank for this to be the entire season. But I was kind of expecting something a bit more episodic than this, or maybe 2-part stories, but no, we're 2 episodes in and we're ending on a cliffhanger with the story not finished yet. So yeah, it's that caught me off guard. I was a little bit surprised by that. So I'll be curious to see what formula of serialization we're going to be dealing with. And I think any of them could work. I just wasn't expecting it. But this is a good time. I don't want to oversell it. It's not like astounding, but it is a different tone and feel, but I think overall quality is more or less in line with what we've gotten from stuff like the Harley Quinn animated series. I still need to check out the Superman animated thing that's out now. I've heard good things. I keep not finding the time. Like that, this is the thing. If I can jump on this stuff when it first starts airing, it's way easier for me to keep up with it. For me to circle back around on something and catch up with it later is so much harder. So no promises on that. But I plan to stick with this, and I'll try and do weekly reviews as I'm able to. Creature Commandos. What did you think about the first 2 episodes? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills. It enables me to do this as my living, even if it can't help me out that way. Like or share or subscribe or all 3. They help me out as well. Don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now it's time to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Goddess Elida, Zubin Lutfula, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Oliver B., Melissa Pedersen, Movie Turtle, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Melinda Walters, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Renabulax the Poodle, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Quite Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Adam RDL Taylor, Pal Barabajoggle, Mira G, and Sir Didymus is my favorite. You can hear me try and say your name while dealing with these guys crawling all over me by checking out the reward tiers on my Patreon. See you next time.